Hey, it's Dianel. Now, how many times have you been just mindlessly scrolling through your social media as you do, specifically TikTok, and you come across a video of someone sharing something deeply personal about their life, and you're just taken aback because you're just like, oh my God.
Time and place.
I feel like this happens a lot on that godforsaken app, but on the internet in general. Oversharing has become like such a norm on the internet, and I think it's pretty interesting. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, today I just wanted to talk a little bit about it, why it's bad, why I think we do it, and just, I don't know, how we can do better. I just feel like we should all know a little less about each other, just in general. One of the things that initially sparked my interest in talking about this was that one viral TikTok that TikTok bartender made. If you don't know, like Michelle Bell XO, I believe is her user. She's been posting for years on TikTok. She like does little scenarios of like how drunk people approach her. She also like reads out like how drunk people leave tips, and like she's basically just this bartender that talks about her life on TikTok, right? Cute persona, she's funny, and I feel like she's been in situations like this in the past, but like I feel like this blew up a lot more. She just has a certain energy to her sometimes. It's weird. But get to the point, Dianel. She posted this TikTok talking about why she was angry at her husband. It gets so much worse. If you haven't seen the TikTok, I'll link it below. I feel like you need to watch it and understand the context, or like just hear her saying it and then come back here. But if you don't want to watch it, I'll summarize it a little bit. Basically, she's talking about how her and her husband were drinking with like a couple friends or neighbors or whatever. And she says that her husband doesn't drink, or he can't drink because like he has one drink and then he doesn't want to stop. Which like when you first hear her say, oh, my husband can't drink, you're like, oh, like is he like allergic to alcohol? Because you know how like some people like get hives when they drink, or like they're on like medication that you can't drink on. But then she's basically alluding to the fact that he's an alcoholic, but she doesn't want to say that he's an alcoholic. But at the same time, you're putting it on blast on social media right now, and like people are gonna rightfully assume that. But whatever, that's not even the point of the video. After they stopped drinking, her husband wanted to keep drinking, so he Ubered to a bar, and I guess he kept drinking there. Then at like 3 a.m. he comes home and he wakes her up with all the ruckus he's making. So she comes down. Mind you, they have a baby, by the way. I don't think the baby's even a year old, but they also have a child. She comes down and he's like, what the fuck? Like, what? She's like yelling at him, like, why are you coming at this hour? Like, what is wrong with you? And then she sees that he came with this like random guy, and she says that he looked like he was scoping out the house. He said that the guy, if it wasn't for this guy, he would be lying in a ditch somewhere. Like, this guy brought him home safe. But then after that, the next day she went to the bar, and then she overheard the bartender talking about this crazy guy that was there last night. And then she's like, was that my husband? Like, did he look like this, like this? And they're like, oh my God, yeah. She was saying that the guy that her husband came with was with someone else, and like they were talking about like robbing them. So it was this whole thing. Like, she came back to her husband, she's like yelling at him, and obviously she's not in the wrong. He literally put his family in danger bringing this random man to the house at like 3 a.m. So it's not like she was wrong for calling her husband out, really, because that was wild. It was more so like I was just watching the video and I was like, why are we sharing this on the World Wide Web? Why is this happening right now? Like, why? What are you doing? This couldn't have stayed in a conversation with your husband. This couldn't have been something, if you had to tell other people, that you told to like your girlies. Like, you really had to tell your millions of followers on TikTok. And I look at the comments, and pretty much everyone is saying the same thing. Like, they should have stayed in the drafts. Like, why are you saying this? Like, cause like, just why are you airing out your business like that to millions of people? One, it opens random strangers on the internet to discuss your personal life because you put it out there. She also, again, puts her husband's drinking problems on blast for millions of people to see. Which, if this is how you wanted to get back at him for putting you and your son potentially in danger, and himself, I guess that's your prerogative. But that's also kind of weird. Not to mention, she also, I don't know if it was the same video, but in a video, she was like detailing how like her security system worked. I forgot the context. If I find the video, I'll also link it below. But it's also like, so not only are you giving out you're just like being so brutally honest about your personal life to like random strangers on the internet, you're also detailing how your security system works, which can get people to like try to maneuver around it, you know? Like, you're saying it in a way that's like, oh, like my security does this and this, but like it's also like, that's dangerous. Also, in general, like, kind of her whole shtick is she posts her schedule. She told her audience her schedule at the bar she worked at. She moved, but at the bar she used to work at, she told her audience her schedule. Obviously, she told them the bar she worked at, and like, she's been like going on job interviews, finding new bars in like the new city she moved in, and she's like giving out the schedule that they're giving her for like her new job. Like, she just clearly does not give a fuck. What's so frustrating is that like she's like putting herself in like a potentially dangerous situation. Like, people on the internet are crazy, and if like, God forbid, some like deluded crazy fan wants to like hurt you, they have your schedule and the place you work at. Do you not understand why that's an issue? And like, let's not even go that far. Just like sharing your personal life online like that, like sharing your problems with your husband, I feel like that does more harm than good. I don't know, whatever. But anyways, that video in general just had me thinking about how much we as a society, we live in a society, tend to overshare on the internet, especially TikTok, way too much. And I wanted to get into why I think we overshare, and not to be that person on the long list of people that blames COVID and the pandemic on everything, but it like fucked us up, so I think it's fair. And I'm not saying oversharing didn't exist on the internet before TikTok. Hello, storytime era of YouTube. But I feel like TikTok blowing up at a time where we were all just locked inside our houses, not having any interaction with anyone, I think it definitely exacerbated it. Because like, the only way we could really interact with other human beings that weren't our family was quite literally through social media and through TikTok. And TikTok specifically was interesting because it was like, there's just so much content that you get in like 1 minute. Like, you see like all these like short form glimpses of like what people are doing with their lives, what people are thinking, what people are saying. Like, you see like 20 people's different opinions or like 20 people's different experiences in like under a minute. It quite literally consumes you, especially when like that's like the only social interaction that you get. And TikTok in general is just wild, and it low-key probably like messed up our brains, but that's a topic for another video. I guess TikTok just feels like a place where, since there's so many fucking people on it, it just feels like a place where you can yell anything into the abyss. Just like yell anything into the abyss, and it just gets lost in there. But sometimes a little video that you made gets 2 million views, and now 2 million people hear you speaking about your childhood trauma in detail. Like, you know? I feel like, on the other hand though, it can be about relatability, to kind of like find other people that relate to like our experiences or struggles, so you can just like find a community of sorts. Sometimes it's just like to vent as well, and other times it could be like sort of an awareness situation, which kind of ties into the relatability thing, where someone who is like going through the same thing or like experiencing the same thing, or just like looking for guidance on a certain topic in general that they think they're alone in, and then all of a sudden they find this video of this stranger, and like it has like a bunch of likes and like people in the comments like relating to it. It's like, oh, so like I'm not alone in feeling this way. So it also just can create awareness for things. So I don't think necessarily oversharing is inherently bad. I do think there are things that you should keep offline. But all in all, what I want to say is digital footprint is a real thing. And obviously there's levels to oversharing, like I said, but digital footprint is a real thing. I would know. I've had unlimited access to the internet pretty much my whole life. So the last quick point I wanted to make about this whole we should all know less about each other situation is about celebrity exposure. I am very aware of the context that comes with being a celebrity, right? Not from personal experience, but like I know that celebrities basically live in a fishbowl. You like, people are just looking at them at all times, and like their every move is being tracked, right? But damn, do we have to hear about every single little thing that they do? I'm talking to you, Pop Craven friends. Like, is it really necessary? I'm just genuinely so tired of everything becoming news. Like, everything. News used to mean something, right? We used to be a proper country. Now I have to witness 20 tweets a day of Jada Pinkett Smith talking about her entanglement again. And I had to hear about the Oscar slap almost 2 whole years later. I feel like I've lived 40 lifetimes since that slap, and somehow I hear about it every 2 weeks. Like, please, let's move on. There are more important things happening. And also, I do not need to hear about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift arriving at dinner and how close they sat to each other and how smiley they were and what they ordered off the menu and what drinks they got and how they talked to the waiter and if they tipped or not and if they walked out together and if he went to her. Like, how much is too much, you know? It's just insanely weird. Like, why are we reporting on everything? Please make it stop. We know too much. Oh my god. This video was a mess. If you got through the whole thing, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to see more of me, be sure to subscribe because I'll be posting videos every week. Maybe once, maybe twice. I don't know. But they'll be coming out every week. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.